All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're still going through all the new spoiled cards from OP08. We're going to be checking out the purple cards today. I've gone over the leaders. I've gone over red, green, and blue. Now we're on purple. Tomorrow will be black. And then the final day will be yellow. So I'll have all that listed down in the comment section below if you have not seen those yet. So that way you can just click around and, check them out if you haven't seen them already. If you want to know what I think about whichever color in OP08. So tons of spoilers today, and we do have to get this out of the way, guys, because these decks are already popping up in the East. This became legal as of like Friday last week or whatever it was technically. So these cards and these leaders, they are legal, and there's some pretty good ones, guys. There's some pretty good ones in OP08 we're going to talk about. But yeah, so let me give you a quick layout so you know what we're getting into, and I'll have everything time-stamped down in the comment section below as usual, or in the description of the video. So first we're going to check out all of the purple cards today. We're going to do a full review of all the purple cards from OP08. Then from there, we're going to check out some of the early decks that are coming up out of two of the purple leaders, King right here, and it's King and Pudding. Okay, we're gonna look at a few new decks coming out of the East from OnePieceTopDecks.com. Then I've got at the end, we'll end on something fun. I've got a game of Black, Yellow, Linlin, and we'll end on that, and then I'll show you guys the deck list that I'm using, and we'll wrap it up in that way. All right, so you know what you're getting into, guys. Tons of spoilers for us over here in the West, but guys, we have to stay ahead of the game. We got to stay on our toes, so to speak. We got to be ready and see what's coming, because this is our only chance for everybody listening in the West. Our only chance to stay above or to stay ahead of the market is to see what decks are doing well now, so that way we can buy certain cards before they get way overpriced. That's just part of, that is how it is what it is. When it comes to that, we're a whole set behind the East. They come out with these new decks because they're play testing left and right with all the cards, and they come to find out, oh, this is the best deck in the format. People in the market see that, and they buy up everything, and that's how scalping can happen. So doing these videos is very, very important, guys. It's more important than you might think. I know a lot of people roll their eyes at these videos and they just skip them. They're actually some of my lowest viewed videos are these right here, these spoilers. And I do understand that a lot of people don't like these. I get it, but it is kind of it's almost like a necessary evil or something like that, where we do need to do this so we can make sure we're looking out for our future in the game. Okay, sorry guys, I had to get that off my chest. Okay, so let's dive into this. I have already done the leaders, and I will have that. I'll have that linked down in the comment section below if you want to know my full thoughts on King and Pudding. I will still read them because they both got pretty decent representation in this set. Purple, though, I will say was more geared towards the Big Mom Pirate stuff than it was geared towards the Animal Kingdom Pirate stuff. But there is still a pretty decent mix. Okay, so first up is King. This is a 4 life, 5,000 power leader, and it has two effects. It's an Animal Kingdom Pirates type, right? That's actually kind of important if you think about it, because there are certain cards in this game, like 10 cost Kaido, that can only be played in Animal Kingdom Pirates decks if you want the effect. So, okay, the type is relevant, Animal Kingdom Pirates, and here's his effect. The effect is activate main once per turn, Dawn -2. And then choose one. Okay, so you're going to return 2 Dawn, and then you get to choose one of these effects. The first one is if you have 5 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. That is a really nice effect, because you have to think of it like this. If you're late in the game, you're going to draw a card, right? And it's free, right? Because when you're at 10 Dawn and you return 2 Dawn, you're getting the 2 Dawn back the next turn. So it's like pretty much free card draw if you're at 5 or less cards in hand. Now, the second one, it doesn't require you to have 5 less cards in hand, but it has give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during its turn. So throughout the beginning of the game, the idea is you're going to drop their cost down and deal with cards that way, right? And even though you're returning Dawn cards back and slowing yourself down, Purple runs enough ramp in order, it has enough ramp to mitigate something like that. Also, speaking of Animal Kingdom Pirates, right? Onigashima, the stage, is going to allow you to always, ramp up your Dawn if you can see it early enough. Okay, really solid leader, and like I said, I do elaborate on this more in the leader video if you want to know more of my thoughts on that. Next up is Charlotte Pudding. This is a 5,000 power 4 life leader, very standard. Purple, yellow, so we got another, Lakers style leader. Lakers Croc was a big thing because of the purple and yellow. Now we have Lakers Pudding. This is a Big Mom Pirates type, of course, and the effect is when attacking, you may turn 2 cards from the top of your life cards face up. and then add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Completely obvious. I don't think I need to hold anyone's hand through this one, but it's just very simple, right? The idea is to ramp as fast as you can to your cards like 10 cost Linlin, or your even cards like your 8 cost Katakuri, 9 cost, potentially 9 cost Yamato. I'm not saying you're going to run all these cards, but you know the idea is there. And there's some other cards you're going to be able to ramp to that we're going to see in this today's purple cards. So very cool stuff there. Okay, so we already went over. So we went over the leaders. Like I said, I go into way more detail on the actual leader video if you want to see that. Awesome alt art as well. Excellent. Okay, they both have excellent alt arts. I do want to mention that, guys, and I do talk more about those in that video. Good stuff there. All right, now on to the cards. So first up is Alber. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1,000 counter. The type is Lunarian, Animal Kingdom Pirates. That is really cool. Lunarian, that sounds awesome. Because remember, guys, I don't watch the show. I don't read the manga. I just really love this game. So when I hear something like that, Lunarian, that sounds really cool. So next up, the effect is activate main. You may trash this character, and if your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type, and you have 10 Dawn cards on your field, play up to one King with a cost of 7 or less from your hand. Okay, so I'm assuming King's real name is Alber. I mean, I'm just judging it by the card, not trying to do spoilers. Sorry, guys, but that's how it appears to me. Who knows? Y'all help me out in the comment section below. This art is incredible. Let me just say that right now. So we have very much a yin and yang formation with like the way the wings are. Notice, can you see my mouse? Hopefully y'all can see my mouse. But notice what's going on here, how we're cutting it in two, but we're putting a curve on the way it cuts the screen with the wings. It goes up into here. It still makes kind of like an oval shape, and the flames are surrounding. Look at the hair. This is done obviously intentionally. Yes, they want to show the hair, but it is almost like a mane, like a lion's mane of hair back here. Looks incredible the way it silhouettes the face. The face is front and center. We have this downward, this triangle right here at the chest, showing that strength. This is awesome. Love the spikes on here. S tier art right here. This is S tier art. Okay, now back to what the effect is. This activate main here, you may trash this character, and if you have 10 or more Dawn cards on the field, you can play out a king that costs 7 or less. Okay, well, there are quite a few targets for that already in the game, and there might be some more in here that we're going to see along the way, but this is a very solid effect. Anytime you're cheating out characters for less than what they should cost, it's always going to be a advantage. So this is an excellent card here. And it's fine by itself, by the way. Excuse me. This is actually fine as a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter, and then it has the upside of that effect. I'm going to give this card, I will probably give this card like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not like a 7.5, 8, 9, or anything like that. It's just a little bit better than an average card, an average vanilla 4-cost 6K. But it does require some help from your hand. And if you don't draw those cards, which happens, let's just be honest. Guys, there are times where you're just unlucky, right? It happens. Well, in this case, I have to give this card at least a 6.5 because it does have very high potential upside because you can attack and then activate the main, if it's like a later turn. Excellent. Really good. I'll give this a 6.5 out of 10. Man, just the whole color palette here, guys, this gold, white, and black, or this orange, white, and black, technically, and all the shades in between. Excellent. Really good stuff. Okay, then we have King. So again, I'm assuming, and you guys help me out in the comment section below, is this like his brother or something, or are they the same person? I think it's the same person just at first glance. King and Alber and King. Okay, 7 cost, 8,000 power. So here you go. Right away, this is a 7-cost King character we can play with this character's effect, right? So let's see what this guy does. Animal Kingdom Pirates type, obviously. It has on play Dawn -1. If your opponent has 5 or more Dawn cards on their field, this character gains Rush during this turn. Excuse me. Okay, I don't like that stipulation there. I understand that will probably not be a problem most of the time, but there is some chance against like Reiju or against Red Purple Law where like maybe they don't have 5 Dawn. I'm just saying like maybe they're actually actively playing around a card like this. But who knows? I'm not saying it will happen often, or maybe it'll never happen at all, but there is some potential there. But other than that, let's just say against the other 90% of the field, 7 costs, 8,000 power, Dawn -1, Rush card. Yeah, this is excellent. And remember, it's even cheaper than 7 if you have this card down. You're paying like 4 costs for an 8K Rusher. This card is outstanding. It does require some setup, you know, this little combination here. But even if you're playing it as a 7-cost AK rusher, that's really not bad. Only having to return 1 Dawn card, and now you're swinging in, smashing a character, or swinging for lethal. You know, whatever. This is solid. I'll give this card, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, because I think 99% of the time this effect is going to be active, even against a red-purple law player, right? Because, yes, while they are going down in Dawn, they're also going up as well. They have a lot of ways to offset the Dawn, the loss of Dawn. So 7 out of 10, I think this card's really good, really solid. Next up, we have Charlotte Oven. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter. When attacking effect, Dawn -1, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. It is a Big Mom Pirate type, if I did not already say that. So I'm just not a huge fan of when attacking effects, unless it's on a leader, because leaders can't be really messed with. Excuse me, and if, you know, that's fine. When it's on a leader, I'm fine with it. But when it's on a character, I really want there to be some type of on-play / when attacking effect, or have it be something along the lines of, you know, one on-play effect and then another effect that's when attacking. Like how what's his name is, 4-cost Kuzan. Kuzan, you play him out. He's a 4-cost 5k with that just on-play draws you a card. And then he also has the when attacking effect of like extra value, where your opponent wants to mess with that character. You know, they want to deal with him right away still. Well, in this case, I don't think that would have been broken. I guess, and you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Would that have just been too strong? But I almost feel like almost any, excuse me, not any, I'll say 90% of all of the when attacking effects that are in this game, I don't see why they can't be an on-play and when attacking, or an on-play and when blocking, like for the more defensive characters. I think that would, I almost think they should try to implement that into the game and balance the character around that. You know, if you have to mess around with the stats accordingly, mess with the stats accordingly. But you know, I do want to see that more often. But as far as the effect goes, I still think this is a solid card. It's a 5-cost 6k 1k counter, incredible draft card. Like in draft, this is getting the little blockers out of the way anytime he attacks, and in a draft, it's way harder to remove characters. But as far as like in the actual game goes, I don't see this card ever seeing play. And not because it's a bad card, it's just because it's not practical. It's cool on paper, like, oh man, every time I swing I'm popping a 3 or less. Well, with my leaders, if I'm running the purple-black leader King that we were just looking at, every time I swing this, I could pop a 5 or less, right? And that seems really good. But did I mention that, by the way? I'm sorry, did I even finish the secondary effect on him? I think I did. Anyway, I can't remember now, guys. I'm scatterbrained right now. I'm sorry. But King has 2 effects. One draws a card if you have 5 or less. The other does -2 to the cost of a character for the turn. Well, if you combine his effect, King's effect, the leader, with this card, okay, yeah, you're going to swing for 6, maybe even attach 1 and swing for 7, and you're going to be able to pop a 5 or less in that case. But you're returning 3 Dawn in that process, 2 from your leader and 1 from this character. It just ends up not really being a practical thing. Where it's like, well, yeah, well, what about if you have it late game? What if you have 10 Dawn now and you're not really worried about dropping, you know, losing Dawn at that rate? Well, then when you want to play something bigger, something like a 9 or 10 cost card, I don't know. Just, again, for me, I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's not a bad card. I'm just going to give it a 6 out of 10, because, yes, I'd rather have this over a vanilla, but what is that really saying? Does that really matter? Like, who really cares, right? Either way, not too bad. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Okay, I'll try to pick up the pace, guys, or else we'll be here all day. Next up, we got Charlotte Katakuri. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter, Big Mom Pirates type. The effect is activate main. You may trash this character, and if your leader has the Big Mom Pirates type, play up to 1 Charlotte Katakuri from your hand with a cost of 3 or more that is equal to or less than the number of Dawn cards on your opponent's field. Okay, that's interesting. That's almost like the opposite of the ST13 Three Brothers package, where you're trying to play cards from life. This is playing a card from your hand. I do like this card, though. It says play up to 1 Katakuri from your hand with a cost of 3 or more that is equal to or less than the number of Dawn cards on your opponent's field. Okay, so like later in the game, you can potentially play out the 8-cost Katakuri for 2, right? If your opponent has 8 or more Dawn. Am I reading that correctly? I mean, it seems okay, but the setup required is kind of, it's just kind of weird to me. Who knows? Maybe in like a purple-black deck, you could make this work with a purple Katakuri if there are any. I don't know if there are any purple Katakuris. That maybe there's going to be one that comes out in this set, but maybe then you could recur it back with Gecko Moria or something. I just don't... It's kind of a weird interaction, right? It's similar... It's very similar to what we saw with this Alber and King interaction. I don't know. I'm just... Oh, there's a category. I accidentally went too far, and there's a category next. We'll read that in a second. But I'll say this. I think this card in general, like even with it having good support, this card is just a little better than a vanilla static. It's actually worse than a vanilla static card, but it is better in the sense you could cheat out bigger cards. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10 because it's clearly meant to do something more than just be a vanilla body. Okay, next up is Charlotte Katakuri. So here we go. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter card. That's nice. 6 cost, 7,000 power, and it still has a counter. Big Mom Pirates type. The effect is on play. You may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face down, and then add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So this is kind of a way to like super ramp with Purple Yellow Pudding, right? If you can play this card out, and say you have all right, hear me out, guys. So let's say you swing with Pudding, right? And it gets you to 6 Dawn. Let's just say you're at 5 Dawn, you swing with Pudding, and then you do this effect, and it flips 2 of your life cards face up, and now you went up to 6 Dawn, right? Or I guess, hang on. You could do it on turn 2, technically, right? Turn 2. All right, hear me out. Hang on 1 second. So you're on a 3 Dawn turn. You swing for 5 and flip the 2 cards up in your life, and you go to 4 Dawn. Next turn, you go up to 6 Dawn, and then you'll play this card out, again, because it's 6 Dawn. You may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face down and add up to 1 Dawn card. And let me say this, if you take the life next turn, when your opponent swings into your life, just take the hit, play out this card, it'll flip up the one that was left that was still... or excuse me, it'll flip down the one that was face up. You'll swing again, and you'll be up to like 9 Dawn, right? 6, 7, 8. You go up to 8 Dawn, and then the next turn you'll be up to 10 Dawn to drop a Linlin on like turn 4. Seems really strong. I know it's a technical interaction. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer it down in the comment section below, but hopefully y'all see what I'm saying. I think this is a solid card, though, in general, like not even trying to be specific, just in a vacuum. As long as you have a deck that can flip cards face up, like with the Leader's Effect for Pudding, then this card is going to be solid. It's going to ramp you where you want to go. So I'll say that this card is just, it's a nice 6 cost 7k body, has the counter, can ramp you life, or can ramp you Dawn. I'm going to put this card at, I'm going to put it like a 7 out of 10. I think this card's really solid, but it's not like insane or anything. It's just a good ramp card. Okay, next up we got Cracker, Charlotte Cracker. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Big Mom Pirates type. Activate main, Dawn -1, once per turn. Dawn -1. Play up to 1 Biscuit Warrior from your hand. Okay, I don't know what Biscuit Warrior is yet. Hopefully that's in this set. But okay, that's potentially very strong. Let's see if it's the next card. Did they do that for us? No, they didn't do it for us this time. I guess it's in like alphabetical order or something. But anyway, I think this card is still very good. As is, because it's a 4 cost 5k with 1k counter. It's only one under. It's only 1k under vanilla, which I always give those 5 out of 10s. But this activate main is going to allow you to cheat out a card. I'm going to save my rating for this until we see what Biscuit Warrior is. In fact, guys, just bear with me. We're gonna go to Biscuit. We got to find the Biscuit Warrior. Hang on. Okay, Biscuit Warrior. This is a 5 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Big Mom Pirates type. Under the rules of this game, you may have any number of this card in your deck. Okay, so it's like the Pacifistic card, right? And it's a blocker. And it's a blocker. With a 1k counter? Oh my goodness. This is really cool, man. This is a really cool card. And how does that card get into play? Sorry, guys. Now I'm flipping through fast. Y'all bear with me. Activate main. Just Dawn -1. That's it. Man, that sounds really interesting. That sounds like a really fun deck to try to put together. And since it's purple and you're Dawn -1ing to activate this main, maybe you put Reiju in the deck as well to draw more cards since you're just cheating out so many bodies. And it's a 5 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, the Biscuit Warrior is. So that's kind of cool. I might have to mess around with this at some point, and the art looks really awesome. Really awesome looking art here. Okay, I'm going to rate this card now that I know what Biscuit Warrior is. This one I'll have to rate, because you can't rate this one in a vacuum, right? You have to know what Biscuit Warrior is in order to even play this card or to mess around the idea. I'm going to give this card like a 7 out of 10 as well. I've been doing a lot of 7s out of 10, guys, like because I feel like 7.5 is like a card you're going to see very frequently in the meta. I feel like this card is on the fringe of that, but will it actually see play? We'll have to see. That is really interesting, guys. This card is really interesting. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, though, like I said. Okay, next up is Charlotte Smoothie. This is a 7 cost, 9,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla character, Big Mom Pirates type, of course. And yeah, this one's awesome. Just 5 out of 5, though. This is excellent. Great. You know, it's nice when you get the vanilla cards in the 6, 7, 8, 9 range, right? I'd like to see more 10 cost vanilla cards as well. That'd be cool. Okay, Charlotte Brûlée, 4 costs, 1,000 power. Okay, so I'm expecting some type of effect here. 1k counter still. Big Mom Pirates, blocker. Okay, already better. And then on KO, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Okay, I actually think it should come into play as active, since this is probably only going to happen on your opponent's turn. That would maybe turn on the effect of like a 1-cost event, like a Naraka Burra Arrow, an Elthor, a Blast Breath, something like that, whatever color combination you're running. But this card is completely fine, but it's not great. The power is so low on it, because you have to compare this to something like Rebecca. Rebecca being a 4-cost, 0 power, 1k counter blocker that returns a card from your trash, has an immediate on play effect, and this on KO effect. Remember, guys, what's one of the biggest threats in the entire set right now? Red Purple Law. So this on KO effect they don't have to do anything to remove this card from the board. They just activate their leader effect to put a Kid and Killer into play, and this card's out of here. You're not even getting the on KO. I'm just going to give this one like a 4 out of 10. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's a bad card. It's just, it seems really, I don't know. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because it's at least a blocker that does force your opponent to remove it. And when they do remove it, most of the time, it's going to be a KO effect. I think most of the time. Theoretically, most of the time, it's going to be an on KO, and it can ramp you a Dawn. But when stats are this low on a character that costs this much, it does raise, some warning, like some red flags in my mind. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, though, because it is a blocker. It does have that effect. It still has a 1k counter. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, next up is Charlotte Pudding. 3 costs, 4,000 power, 1k counter, Big Mom Pirates type. The effect is your turn, once per turn. When a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Now, I do remember this card from, I went over a combo, or not really a combo, but I went over this in a whole nother video a ways back. I'll link it down in the comment section below, talking about an interaction with Purple Black King that's coming out. This is just your miniature version of the 5-cost 6k blocker Eustace Kid. Now Eustace Kid is way better than this. Like, I'm not saying it's as good. I'm saying this is like the mini-me version of that card. This card does not have blocker. This card does not bring the Dawn into play active. But it is a 3-cost 4k, just like that one's a 5-cost 6k. That's like the same kind of stat trajectory. Both are 1k counters. But being able to play this early on in the game is actually very beneficial, right? Because if you could just plop this down on turn 2 and then go about your game, it actually feels a lot better in that way. Whereas playing down Eustace Kid, yes, sometimes it obviously feels really good to play that card down. Most times it feels good to play that card down, but this can play down an entire turn earlier. It feels really nice. I'm going to give this card a 7.5 out of 10 because being able to fix your Dawn by returning Dawn is just, that kind of mitigation is incredible, and getting it on a really cheap body like this, and it's still a 3-cost 4k. Attach 1 Dawn. If you attach 1 Dawn, you're swinging sideways for 5. Yeah, that's completely fine. Good stuff. So like I said, 7.5 out of 10. Okay, and here is the alt art version of the card. Ooh, man. Okay, so these colors are extremely vibrant. Notice the orange in the hair. Really vibrant cards here. Looks great, though. I like the strawberries, the little cake she's making down here. Good stuff. Interesting angle, too. Like, you see how we can see the, I don't know if you can notice how like, the drawers are back here. That's interesting perspective. You know, when I teach, like, 1 and 2 point perspective, there's even 3, there's like 3 and 4 point perspective now people are messing with that are, like, totally wild. Like, it's like a 3-dimensional, like, fisheye lens type of stuff. But when it comes to 1 point and 2 point perspective, I would be having a talk with this student as far as how this lined up, because the idea is you put a point all the way over here off your canvas, right, and then you put one over on the other side. Like, I can't even point to it because it's off my my screen over there, but you put these points down, and then all of the lines from your background should line up perfectly with the point. Maybe they're doing it and it's just hard to tell from this angle, but the picture itself just looks great. Really incredible. I love the vibrancy. Like I said, the vibrancy is just incredible. Okay, Charlotte Perospero. We got a 3 cost, 5,000 power, just like the other one, right? Just like the other Perospero that can search. Let's see what this one does. Big Mom Pirates type. The effect is on KO, just like the other one. Okay, but this one is add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Okay, still not bad. But just like the other Perospero, notice there's no counter over here. The other one, though, could do a top 3 search, so I would say that one's a little better. But this is still not bad. It's ramping you Dawn, but your opponent can just play around this. And, like, let me say it like this. Later in the game, a top 3 search from Perospero could win you the game. I'm talking about the yellow Perospero. Doing a top 3 search might get you a 2K counter that could potentially win you the game. Or it could get you a top 3 search and you get the 10 from that, so you can plop that down and win the game from there. This effect here of on KO, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it, this is a dead effect later in the game, right? Like if you have 9 or 10 Dawn, if you have 8 or more Dawn, this is a dead effect, right? Because as soon as he gets KO'd, okay, you go up to 9, you're going to get 10 that next turn anyway, right? If you have 10 Dawn already, it just does nothing. The trigger is Dawn -1 and play this card. So that is one advantage, where instead of having to pitch a card from your hand, you're just returning 1 Dawn, playing this card out that he will eventually replace anyway with his own KO effect. Theoretically, he'll be able to pay that back, even though we know there is some bottom decking in this game. There is tapping, there's like pushing cards out of the way, but still. I'm going to give this card a 7.5 out of 10, because I still think, because the other Perospero, the yellow one for all the way back in OP03, that one I give like a 9 out of 10. The card is just pure value, right? Because even though you're trashing a card from hand, and that is nice how they did that, right? You're trashing a card from hand to play the 3 cost 5k yellow Perospero, and then when he gets KO'd, he's going to replace that card in hand. Same idea with this one. You're trashing a Dawn, quote unquote, and he's going to get you that back later in the game with this effect. But doing the top 3 search, I feel like is just so much more relevant, and it's also nice just trashing cards from your hand, to play out a card like this with tempo when it's a card you just didn't need anymore, or that you have multiples of in your hand. Really solid. They're both really good, though, I will say that. So I have to give this a 7.5 out of 10, because if you pop this off your first life, okay, you're off to the races, right? And you've got a solid body here that if they remove it, if they KO it on removal, well, guess what? You're going to be getting, you're going to ramp your Dawn back. Really cool. Okay. Next up, we got Charlotte/Linlin. Actually, I want to see one more thing. Okay, this is a your turn once per turn with pudding. I was going to say, if this was a once per turn, like not exclusively on your turn only, then if you had this card down on turn 2 and cheated this in with the trigger to get the Dawn back with the pudding's effect, that would have been incredible. That would have affected my rating of this card. But as is, I'm still going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. This I could see seeing some use, maybe not. We'll have to see. Okay, now we got a 9 cost Charlotte/Linlin. This is a 9 cost, 9,000 power, former Rocks Pirate, Big Mom Pirates type character. And the on-play effect is Dawn -1. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, Dawn, you're going to return 1 Dawn card, you're going to trash a card from hand, and then you're going to add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Okay, not the top or bottom, the top specifically. Then add up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life cards face up. And that will be at the top or bottom of theirs. Okay, this card is solid. 9 cost, 9,000 power, on play. Okay, so it only hits a 6 or less, which is not like incredible or anything like that. But I could see this in a purple and black deck, like maybe some type of Animal Kingdom Pirates deck. I'm not going to go all the way back. With an Animal Kingdom Pirates deck that shows off King, like Animal Kingdom Pirates plus Big Mom Pirates combo deck, I could see this being pretty decent in there. Because maybe you even run Ice Age. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's an option. Maybe you run Ice Age. Maybe you run the new Tempest Kick. There might be something you can combo this with to get a bigger range. Because if you're going to be able to hit anything in the game with this effect, not just a 6 cost, then this card is incredible. Right? But as is, I'm still going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I think this effect is outstanding. And this will probably see a lot of play. At least in any deck that runs purple, that can ramp up to this, and that's all of them. Any deck that runs purple and can ramp, you're going to be able to play this card. And notice it's not leader lock, so easily 8.5 out of 10 on this card. I think this card's excellent. 9,000 is such a excellent stat line because it's going to be very, any kind of 5,000 power base leader. Well, guess what? When you swing for 7, it's going to cost them 2 cards out of hand minimum. But if you swing for 9, it's going to cost 3 cards out of hand minimum, and that's just by turning this character sideways after you just gained a life and bounce one of their characters back to their life. This card is very well statted, very well designed. I also like the style of this art quite a bit too with the texturing. Looks really nice. But okay, I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10. This card has a lot of potential. Okay, and now we have an alt art for this leader. Whew, man, those pinks. Okay, the pinks on this one look really nice up in here. Hopefully the quality comes out good enough on the recording and everything. The pinks right here are like way more vibrant on it. I guess, is that Napoleon? I think that's like her little hat Napoleon or whatever that can turn into a sword. You guys help me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that's a whole nother thing, because I see the cloud back there. I see the sun right here. Really big fan of that. Again, notice the composition, guys. There's a composition. There's a bow right here to her chest. Okay, you see the way she's bowed across the screen. She is attacking. She's coming at you, right? And notice the yin-yang. This is just, you know, Oda's like ideas here. This is just brilliance on display. You've got the light. You've got the dark back here, you know, the sun, the clouds, that's just excellent. And the hockey framing this picture is outstanding, guys. The hockey framing this picture brings the entire piece together. It's absolutely incredible. And you got a little bit of sparks. I don't know if you guys can see the sparks that well, but they're all over the place, and it really, it does a number on this piece, and it's really good. Really nice here. All right, the tongue's a little crazy for me. See, in here, the tongue is in, but I respect that. You know, that's a decision. You know, she's coming at you. Like I said, she is intimidating. She is scary right here, but looks awesome. Really good alt art there. One of my favorites from the set so far is this one. Looks really good. Okay, Baron Tamago. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter. This is a blocker with on KO, Dawn -1. Okay, so when he gets KO'd, you're also sacrificing a Dawn card to play up to 1 Viscount Hiyoko with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay, I'm sorry. We do have to do a little skipping around. What was his name? Viscount Hiyoko. This guy. So you'll cheat this guy out. And he is a 5-cost 6k that has opponent's turn on KO, Dawn -1, play up to 1 Count Niwatori with a cost of 6 or less from your deck, and then shuffle it, which was that other guy we were just saying. Wow. So that can kind of just keep ramping upwards, right? That's interesting. Okay, notice their eggs. Okay, and he's got like a little egg on his stomach there or whatever. I think this is kind of like some type of homage to what do they call it? The little eggs that just keep, when you open it, there's a smaller egg and a smaller egg and a smaller egg and a smaller egg when you get inside. But this is like backwards, right? When this one gets popped, the smaller one gets popped, it brings back a bigger, or it brings out a bigger one. And then after the bigger one gets popped, it brings out an even bigger one. That's really cool. And someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. Really cool stuff there. Good stuff. So other than that, it's a 3-cost 4k 1k counter blocker. This is actually completely fine as is, because okay, on a vanilla body you'd expect a 3-cost 5k and a 1k counter. Well, you're losing the 1000 counter, or excuse me, the 1000 power from the attack and turning that into a blocker effect, and then it also has additional effects, and it's on KO. Now yes, you do have to return a Dawn card, but this is in purple. You know, this is inside of purple. We know how that works. I would say that this card, I'm going to give this like a 6 out of 10. I know that sounds crazy. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10, guys. I'm going to go 6.5 out of 10. Because this is just way better than a vanilla card that costs 3. Like, you would always run this over a vanilla 3-cost 5k. At least I think you would, in my opinion. Because attach 1 Dawn and he's still swinging. So 6.5 out of 10. Okay, and let's keep going. Next up is Count Niwatori. Actually, let's go in order. So it was wait, yeah, we did this one. So it's Tamago into Hiyoko. Okay, we already did Biscuit Warrior. I will talk a little bit about that when we come back to it. But all right, so Hiyoko is this one. This is what it evolves into or whatever. This one is opponent's turn on KO, Dawn -1. Sorry, guys, it's a 5-cost 6,000 power 1k counter, Big Mom Pirates type, of course. And then on your opponent's turn on KO, Dawn -1. The other one was not on opponent's turn. I just noticed that. Like, this Tamago card is not on opponent's turn. So even if this gets popped by like an Ice Age or whatever they might be running, like a Nami or something, if this gets popped, it is going to be able to cheat out that other card, just period, right? But Niwatori and Hiyoko, this is on opponent's turn only, the on KO. Unless it's a bad translation. But actually, if you look right here, let me see. So it looks like that, and this one, yeah, this one only has the on KO. So I think that is a correct translation. Okay. So anyway, back to what we were saying. So whenever this one gets KO'd, you're going to play out the Count Niwatori with a cost of 6 or less from your deck, then shuffle your deck. Okay, so these are, I'm going to say this right now, these are just like strictly better than any kind of vanilla cost card that you'd run in these spots. In the 3 cost 4K, 5 cost 6K, and then 6 cost 7K range, you would just run these cards, right? There's no reason to run like a 6 cost 8K vanilla when you could have this with potential upside. Okay, and then we're going to look at this in a second. This one even has an effect to bring Baron Tamago back, it looks like, to restart the whole cycle. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Sorry, guys. So Viscount Hiyoko, he's going to be able to cheat out the Niwatori guy. I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. And now let's go back to the Count Niwatori. Hopefully I'm saying that right, guys. I have no idea how to say that properly. So this guy's a 6 cost 7K 1K counter with the effect of on KO Dawn -1, play up to 1 Baron Tamago with a cost 4 less from your deck, then shuffle your deck. Now they all play them from the deck. Notice that, you know, you are searching them up, right? But you do need to get started with something like this Baron Tamago card, it looks like, because when he gets KO'd by blocking, he's going to start the entire chain reaction. You know, by again, remember, guys. Oh, actually, hang on. He is playing a card from your hand. Sorry, guys. I know this is really technical. Tamago is playing a card from your hand, but Niwatori and Hiyoko are playing cards from your deck. Okay, man, that is really technical, very interesting. So, like I said, you do need the Baron Tamago like in your hand to start the combo potentially, and then you'll be able to cheat out with him Hiyoko. Now, Hiyoko, when he gets KO'd, he's going to be able to search up the Niwatori from your deck. You don't even have to have this card in your hand. So maybe this card you only run as like a 1 or a 2 of, and then you'll be able to get it that way. I wish it said from your hand or deck, and then if it was from your deck, then shuffle. I do wish it was worded in a way like that, because what if you only want to run 1 or 2 of these and still get the tempo? We'll have to figure it out. We will have to figure that out. Very cool stuff, though. I'm giving all these a 6.5 out of 10 because they're just like vanilla plus cards. Even though they're a little bit understated for a vanilla card, the fact that they have a way to protect your board state and your tempo, I actually think these cards are at least a 6.5 out of 10. All right, very cool stuff. I might have to mess with that in the future. So Biscuit Warrior, we talked about this already a little bit. It's a 5 cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter. You can have any of these. You can have any amount of these in your deck, and then it's a blocker. This card is excellent. I'm going to give it a straight up 5.5 out of 10. Okay, I know that sounds like, wait, I just hyped it up, but remember, guys, you're not going to just win the game off a card like this unless you can flood the board with it. And what are you going to do on turns 1 and 2 when you can't even play this card? So it's just a really solid blocker. 5 costs, so that actually is good, right? Because you're getting around a lot of the low cost removal. 5,000 powers, okay, because you can at least attack into, like, you know, base life, and then 1K counter. Okay. Not bad, and it's a blocker. I'm just going to give this a solid 5.5 out of 10. Okay, next up, Black Maria. Okay, we got... Purple got some cards, guys. I feel like this might end up being like my longest video of all the spoilers, because Purple got some cards to talk about. Let's keep going. So Black Maria here, 3 cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter, Animal Kingdom Pirates type. Activate main, once per turn, of course. This effect would be crazy if it wasn't once per turn. Sorry, guys. As usual, the mustache. It's right around this time in the video. I guess that yapping gets my mustache hairs raised up, tickling my nose. I got to shave soon. I'm sorry, guys. I look like a bum on camera. But no, anyway, seriously, guys, back to this. Activate main, once per turn. Characters, if you have no other Black Maria character, you can't have like multiples of these down and just go crazy with your Dawn. But characters, if you have no other Black Maria characters, add up to 5 Dawn cards. Did y'all hear that? Add up to 5 Dawn cards from your Dawn deck and rest them. Then at the end of this turn, return Dawn cards from your field to your Dawn deck until you have the same number of Dawn cards on your field as your opponent. So yes, against Red Purple Law, this card is just mediocre. It's still a 2K counter though, guys. Like, all that I'm saying, that insane effect of adding up to 5 Dawn cards, it's still a 2K counter. Absolutely incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. I will give this card a 9 out of 10. Because, like I said, number 1 is a 2K counter. And number 2, this is going to fix any Dawn problems you might have. Like, if you had to play some massive effect next turn and go down in Dawn, go down to like 5, go down to 3, 4 Dawn, whatever. You play this card out, you're like up to 10 Dawn the next turn. Like, if you were down to 4, think about it, like, if you're down to 3 Dawn from whatever you just had to do, and then you play this card out next turn. You know, you go to 5 Dawn for the turn. Play this out, you're up to 10 Dawn. You can return Dawn like that with your leader's effect. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this card is like a 9 out of 10. This is an excellent, excellent utility 2K counter. Best in class, right? Best in class purple 2K counter probably right here. I can't think of every purple 2K counter off the top of my head, but if I were to make like a tier list, I can guarantee you this would be in the absolute top tier of that division. Incredible. 9 or 9.5 out of 10. Excellent 2K counter. Okay. All right, we got an alt art version. Hang on. So I'm not as I'm not in love with this one. The composition is good. Okay, you know, notice what's going on here. The what is it called? The spider web, the spider silk web, or whatever this is. It's wrapping around, making like the spiral shape. The colors are nice on the dress, but it looks like, okay, yeah, no, I see where how they did the hand. I see it looks like she only has 3 fingers. Like there was a problem there, but no, you see where the pinky is. And yeah, so maybe it's the colors in this one versus this one. I like this one better because it almost looks more textured, more texturized. You know what I mean? And the colors are muted a little bit, but her skin is not so pale white. Like it's more of like a tan or a yellow, like a peach or a tan or a yellow. Whereas this one is just like, her skin is like bleach white. And I don't know how she's supposed to look in the anime, guys. Y'all bear with me. You know, y'all tell me down in the comment section below if you know. But I don't like this, okay? This looks more realistic to me. This is like albino looking almost to me. And y'all see me, guys. I'm like this white guy up here, but you can see my skin color on the camera. It looks more like this. Like this is more accurate. This is like and there are extremely pale people out there. I'm not trying to make fun. Okay, I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm just saying which one is accurate. How is she supposed to look? They both look great. I really love these like knives in the headpiece. That looks incredible. Or in the hairpiece. Does she have it in this one too? Yeah, this one has it as well. It's just a little bit harder to see from this angle. But really cool stuff. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much more time on that one. Next up, we have Candy Maiden. This is an event. All right, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done with the spoilers here. Candy Maiden is a 1-cost event, Big Mom Pirates type. Main, Dawn, -1. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Then turn all of your life cards face down. Okay, main, Dawn, -1. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and then turn all of your life cards face down. Whew, not a fan. Not a fan of this one. I like that you can reset your life cards for your pudding, so that way you can start, you know, gaining Dawn again, but you're losing Dawn in the process. No. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of this. The trigger is add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. That's a nice trigger. You're ramping Dawn. But as far as the main effect goes, I'm going to give this thing like a 4 out of 10. Yes, you can combo it with a black card to rest a big character. Like, you know, like if you combo this with an Ice Age, you're resting a 7 or less, okay? But now you're using 2 cards from hand, and you're going backwards in Dawn just to turn your cards up in your life. But in a deck that's running purple and black, you probably don't have that issue like you would in purple and yellow. Because this is probably made for pudding. I'm not a big fan of this card, guys. I'm actually going to give this lower. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. And you guys tell me if I'm missing something. I'm not perfect. Okay, next up, it's To Die For, okay? Look at this art. Look at the tier. Oh my goodness, this is incredible. Okay, this is a 3-cost, 4 Emperors, Big Mom Pirates type event. This is an event card. The effect is main, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Okay, so for 3, you're ramping Dawn. Then, if your opponent has a character with 6,000 power or more, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Okay, so later in the game, this is ramping you 2 Dawn. Am I reading this correctly? Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Then, if your opponent has a character with 6,000 power or more, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Trigger, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Yeah, this is a solid ramp card. Like this, I would take this card over Candy Maiden 99% of the time, right? Like maybe it's 90% of the time, but you guys get my point. I could just play this on turn. Well, you want your opponent, you want to get both effects from this, or do you even care? Actually, hang on. Maybe you don't care as long as you're ramping 1 Dawn on turn 2. Like that's usually the most relevant thing. And if you ramp on turn 2 and your opponent doesn't have, hopefully they don't have a 6,000 power or more character by that time. But if you do this, think about it. So if you went first, so turn 1, play out pudding or something, pass. Turn 2, play this out. you're at 3 Dawn. If you play this out, you'll go up to 4 Dawn, and that Dawn will be active, so you can swing for 6 with your leader and ramp a Dawn that way with your leader's effect. Or you can play out like another Pudding or some type of 1-cost character or whatever. Yeah, I think this card's awesome. I'm giving this a 7.5 out of 10. And man, I'm loving the crosshatch form of shading they're using here. It's like crosshatching. And look at like the tier 2. This is I would love to see the whole piece of some of these. You know what I mean? Like I understand it's a card game. We only get to see what's inside the little square, right? We only get to see what's inside this little box. But I would love to see the entire piece of some of these because I bet this is a really incredible piece. Okay, good stuff. Or who knows? Maybe that's all it is. I don't actually know. I'll have to look into this. For the people who are interested. I wonder if they actually draw right on the card, or if they like draw a piece and then send it off, and then they put it in the card. They crop it in there. I'll have to look into that for y'all. For anyone who's interested. Okay, here we go. Conquest of the Sea. This is a big event. 6 cost, purple. The 4 Emperors, Animal Kingdom Pirates, Big Mom Pirates types. That's a lot of types going on, okay? 4 Emperors and Animal Kingdom Pirates and Big Mom Pirates. This has the effect, it's a 6 cost event, guys. The effect is main Dawn -2. Okay, so you're having to return 2 Dawn. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type or Big Mom Pirates type, KO up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. Okay, this is purple. Well, this is Big Mom Pirates, Animal Kingdom Pirates type version of Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Seems good to me. And it costs 1 less, but you're returning 2 Dawn in the process, but you're in purple, so who cares? Yeah, this is awesome. This card is really, really good. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of... I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Because it does return Dawn, so it does slow you down. Because think about it. The idea behind this card, if you're trying to play this card out, like where you absolutely need it on turn, like on turn 3, you're playing against an opponent who's just flooding the board, right? They're just filling the board out. And if you have to plop this down on turn 3 when you're on a 6 Dawn turn, or even if you're on an 8 Dawn turn, it doesn't matter. Like if you play this out, you're returning 2 Dawn. So you're going back down to 6 or even back down to 4 potentially against like an aggro deck. And now it's almost like, yeah, you removed some important threats from the board, but this will hurt. This will really hurt to play. So if you don't have like a Pudding down to help offset the cost or the Dawn return from this, or like a Eustace Kid, this effect kind of hurts. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as opposed to like I would normally give it like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. But really good. 8 out of 10. This card's solid. Okay, we got Kaido and Linlin. We got a secret rare here, guys. This is I have done a video on this. I will link it down in the comment section below. This is a 10 cost, 12,000 power, 4 Emperors, Animal Kingdom Pirates, Big Mom Pirates type, with the effect of when attacking. Okay, I already went off on a spiel on this earlier in the video. Dawn -10, KO all characters other than this character. Then add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, and trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards. So this is a combination of 10 cost Linlin and 10 cost Kaido. The original, like, what was it, OP01 or OP02 Kaido? I can't remember which one it was. The 10 cost 12k Kaido that wipes the whole board when you go -6. That's what's going on here. Excuse me. So as far as the effect goes, yes, this is... I would say this is probably the most powerful effect in the entire game. Okay? You are clearing the entire board other than this character. Your characters and your opponent's characters. You're wiping the entire board. And you're also ripping a Dawn... life from your opponent. And you're gaining life. And you're still swinging for 12, obviously, when you do this effect. Any card... Okay, understand me. Hear me out. Any card that comes into play for 10 Dawn and does not have an on-play effect, it just seems like a card that will not see a ton of play. Unfortunately, in the competitive sense. Yeah, hey, if you're playing locally, yeah, bust this card out, run 4 in your deck, and have fun. But, like, in a competitive sense where you're playing against, like, some sweaties, you're playing against some sweaty players, I don't think they're going to let you have this card. Right, because they're either going to remove it. There's a lot of ways to remove this card now, by the way. Blue has Red Rock. They've had that for a while now. Yellow, since EV01, has Rygo, or it's called Kingdom Come for us. Black has Stussy. By the way, Black also has other ways to just get around this, right? Black can just run Sabo or Borsalino or Fukuro and just like, oh, you KO'd my guy? Okay, no problem. I'll just like save it. Green has ways to prevent KO with Rosinante. Blue has a new card that prevents KO in, what's his name, Thatch. We actually saw that in the blue cards we looked at from OP08. Red has cards to get around this like the Marcos. I don't mean to be like a Debbie Downer kind of person with this card. I think the card is absolutely incredible. The art, by the way, look at it. It is outrageous. Like, look at that face that Linlin is making. That is incredible. It is disturbing. It looks great. Kaido, they're looking straight down. Look, he's got his what is that, like a, I don't know if it's called like a Tetsubo or something. Like, it's like a spiked club. Whatever that is, that thing is like on you, right? He is like, you know, he's got his weapon on your face, right? He's just pushing you into the ground with it, or KOing you, or however you want to read that. And they're just like looking down on their weakling opponents. Incredible. It just looks, the art is fantastic in this piece. But as far as the card itself goes, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I know that's low. Some people are like, how is this not a 10 out of 10? Hear me out, guys. This is, first of all, this is just, I mean, this card requires a lot of setup. And I will, like I said, I will link a video I dedicated to this character that shows off this character in its like absolute greatest potential, right? But the idea, at least currently, but the idea is this: in a more practical sense, if you drop this card down on 10, then you must have already been winning that game, or you're about to lose the game. Either you were already winning because you just literally gave your opponent a free turn, or you know, or they're just going to run you over in the following turn. Really, really cool card. I have to say, really amazing, incredible effect, but I have to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, here's the alt-art version of it. No, this is no comparison to this. I'm sorry. Different art styles. Okay, both artists are skilled. Both artists are extremely talented, but this piece right here goes crazy. This piece goes absolutely crazy, guys. Man, I love this angle on the horns, too. He has like this, like, King Trident look, or what was his name, like Poseidon style, like King Trident style of like a crown. You know what I mean? The way that Kaido's head looks. Awesome, man. This piece is so good. This piece is good too. It's just a very different style. I like both of them, but yeah, I have to. This one gets my vote for the better piece. Good stuff. Okay, then we got. I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last piece here. We got Queen. This is a special rarity card. This is a 5 6K counter, 5 6,000 power, 1K counter blocker. This is the Queen from the ST02 pack, ST04 pack. It is a blocker with on play, return 1 Dawn card to draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. Really incredible card. Out of all the specials that I've seen from this set, this is my least favorite one. Not because it looks bad, just because the others were, I just feel like they were just so incredible. But this is still cool. This one seems very cluttered. Like I don't really know what all's going on. I see these like little lantern style, you know, ornaments back here. I see the traditional Japanese clouds back here. I don't know if this is money or something. I'm not familiar enough with the region or the show to know what this is. It might be like some type of currency. And this is cool down here, I will say, because notice that there's the hexagonal pattern for the color wheel in this game, and they have that right next to it, and it actually complements that a lot. I almost didn't even recognize the little color wheel over here because of it. Nice colors, though. I do like the blues and the golds. I think those go together very well. The pink and the magenta, or whatever that is, it offsets it a little bit, but looks pretty good. Okay. All right, we're done. We're done with that finally, guys. Here, let me bring this off. Y'all give me just a second. I got to turn off the purple. Because now we got to look at some decks from the East. The first wave of competitive decks from the East for these two new leaders. Does this... Let me push this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. You guys can see? Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We're only going to look at a few of these. First, we're going to look at the King deck because there's only one of those. It did go 6-0. So that does show some, you know, some signs of potential there. But notice there were 4 pudding decks versus just the 1 King. And let me, there we go, that's what I was waiting on. Sorry, guys, I was waiting so I could fix that. There we go. I think we're good now. Perfect. Had to adjust my icon at the top left. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me go ahead and go back. We're going to refresh this. F5, refresh my page. And we're going to sort by, I don't know why it has Calgar with like the purple-yellow. That's just a mono-yellow deck. But all right, so we got Pudding, and we've got King, OP08 King. So currently for the list that they're running for King over in the East, for those who are wondering, yes, I'm about to put out videos on what I think, or how I think these leaders should be run, but you guys have to let me get through all the cards first so everybody knows what's going on and knows what the cards do. Because look at this. We just went over this card today. You know, otherwise we'd have no idea what's going on. I'd have to, you know, explain every card along the way. That's why I like to do those preview videos first, or, you know, the whole, like, it's like 6 straight days. Or 7, technically. It's 7 straight days of spoilers. Because I do leaders and then all 6 of the colors. Okay, but we're almost done, right? We only got black and yellow left after this, and then I'm going to start going into the new OP08 decks and talking about those and doing playthrough videos on those. Deck guide videos. So notice one thing real quick. I'm going to zoom way out. Look at how all over the place this deck is. This is a lot of cards, okay? Like, so the consistency is typically... You're going to suffer when it comes to consistency when you have the cards spread out this much, because usually an entire deck is like just this right here, where you've got, like, you know, what's this, 1, 2, 3, 3 rows of 4 and then 1 row of 3. That should be like your entire deck, right? Because there's 4 cards you can have at, you know, maximum of a single card. So 4 times 10 is 40. It should end up being perfectly right around here and maybe sometimes down to this row. But look at this. This goes all the way down like 2 rows, and it's just all over the place. So real quick, let's just kind of, we'll walk through it. I'm going to explain to you guys what I think is going on here. They want to see if these cards are good, but look at this. You're only running 2 of this new Arbol card with the King combo we talked about, but they are using another King they can use. But you're only running 2 of this guy, because they realize you have to have 10 or more Dawn to even get this going. That complicates a lot of stuff, especially when you're trying to combo things with your leader's effect. You can't even do it. You know what I mean? I guess if you do it in a different order, you can still do it, right? Because this is a Dawn -1 effect. This is a Dawn minus... No, excuse me. This is not a Dawn -1 effect. This is Trash the Character. But this is a Dawn -1 effect for the other King. And there's just a lot going on. Now, of course, this is... Anything that you see as a 4 of in this deck is probably meant to be a 4 of. Like, it will stay as a 4 of. Onigashima is a stage from all the way back in ST04 in the starter deck for Kaido. Activate main, rest this card, add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck, and set it and rest it, right? How is this worded? Add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck to your cost area in rest. I don't think that's properly translated. Sorry, guys. But you're going to ramp 1 Dawn rested. So really good stuff there. They're only running 2 of the Searcher. Like, typically speaking, when you have a Searcher, it's going to be a 4 of. This Searcher is only a 1 of. This is only an Animal Kingdom Pirate Searcher, so anything that might be like Big Mom Pirates type, you can't even grab from it. But this thing, you can. I'm very confused as to why they don't just run... Maybe they don't have all the cards yet, because now let me preface with this, guys. We're only going into like the 2nd week of OP08 even being legal over in the East. So we got to give them some leniency there. They're probably still collecting all the cards. But like from this deck, if I were to continue going in this direction with this deck, let me just tell you guys what I would do right away. It would be 4 of these. Drop these queens, because it can't even search for your Big Mom Pirates package. I understand it's a body. It's nice to have a body on the board. But I'd rather have consistency over that, you know, giving up your 2K attack. I'll talk about Kaido in a second. Some of the usual suspects, we're seeing 3 Surus, but I have a feeling that they actually want to do 4 Who's Who, and they just had to supplement Suru for the time being, maybe. Because look at this, the Black Maria, I totally understand that. That's a great card to ramp with. And to offset your problems with your Arbol combos later in the game with, like, King, the 2 different King options. 2 Kalamazoos. This card actually is very good. Take a second to read this. Being able to pop a 2 or less, guys, is actually very, very strong with this leader's effect. Because you will use this leader's effect to return 2 Dawn, and you could do the -2 cost to a character for the turn effect, and then resolve this effect because you returned a Dawn card from your Dawn field, and now you can pop a 4 or less with that effect. Just by, you know, using your leader's effect and this card being on the board. I actually like this card a lot. In Purple Black King, I think it has a lot of utility. And it's a 2K counter. It's just a nice 2K counter. Now, it's not searchable by anything that we want. It's not Big Mom Pirate searchable. It's not Animal Kingdom searchable. It is a Supernova Kid Pirate Smile character. So not very good searchability for us. So maybe as a 2 of, it's perfect. Shiki, this is not searchable either, but it's just a nice 2 cost, 1000 power, 1K counter blocker. And if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, draw 1 and discard 1. Draw 1, trash 1. So that's solid. This is the pudding we just looked at. This card's excellent. And it's only as a 2 of. Surprisingly, it's only as a 2 of. But other than that, I mean, look at this. Even Gecko Moria is not a 4 of in this deck. I am so lost here, guys. Y'all help me out in the comment section below. For Sasaki, this is a 2K counter, searchable by Animal Kingdom Pirates. I get that. Just nice, searchable 2K counter. And I get Suru. Being able to do that extra cost reduction is just massive. Only one of this... what was this card called? Wait a minute. What was this card called? We got to go back. Conquest of this. I'm going to call it Conquest for now, guys. So this Conquest card, they're calling Hakai. Hakai? However you say that. So Conquest, they're running as a 1 of. Now, this new card here, we have not seen yet. We're going to be looking at this in the black spoilers. But this card, I am going to read it real quick. You know, a sneak peek. 7 cost, 8,000 power, no counter. This character's cost is +4. So it's an 11 cost character. But you play it for 7. And then activate main, you can rest this character and then draw 1 card and discard 1 card from your hand. After that, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 3 or less. This effect, guys, is just so good. Because with your leader's effect, you're popping a 5 or less. So just as is, this card is just pure value. Extremely high value card. And it's a 7 cost 8K. So when you're done popping characters with it and cycling through your deck, then you can just turn it sideways and start going face. Attach 1 Dawn, you're swinging for 9. That gets around Luffy's base life. You know, Black Yellow Luffy's 9,000 power base life. Whenever, you know, later in the game. Y'all know what I'm saying. Kaido, another one. This one we're going to be looking at more tomorrow in tomorrow's video, but I have to go over it since we're looking at this deck list real quick. This is a 9 cost, 9,000 power character with activate main once per turn. You can discard 1 card from your hand, and if this character is played in this turn, so they're trying to make you do it on your turn, trash 1 of your opponent's 7 cost or lower characters, then your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. This is only an activate once ever. Let me explain like this. This was meant to be an on play. Okay, let me just say it like that. This is supposed to be an on-play effect, but they wanted you to be able to use your leader's effect with this effect. Because otherwise, you can't do Dawn -2 and then play this card. You know what I'm saying? If it were on play. But with it being an activate main, what you can do is play this card out, then Dawn -2 to one of their characters, and now you're hitting a 9 or lower just by playing this in King. Right, just absolutely incredible. And then your opponent discards a card. Like, you're trashing one of your opponent's characters. Not KOing. I'll wait for the final translation on that. We'll read it tomorrow. But you're not trashing. You're not KOing a character. You're trashing it. So you're getting around cards that cannot be KO'd. Really powerful effect here. Okay, and then what else? Then your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. Yep. So there you go. Really good stuff there. It's running 3 Kuzans. This does make a little bit of sense in a deck like this because now if you drop down, let's just say you went like turn 4. Going second, so 8 Dawn, let's just say it's an 8 Dawn turn, and you play this guy out, right? Do not use the leader's effect with this just yet. Just play this guy out and start popping 3 or less cards, right? 3 cost or lower card. 3 cost or lower card, sorry guys. You'll be able to pop it with this. Then, afterwards, you know, the next turn, on 10 Dawn, if you plop this card down, you're going to be able to pop a 5 or less with what he just did. Then you're going to be able to pop a 8 or less with this character combined. And then if you use your leader's effect on top of that, you can pop a 10 or less. So I do get why Kuzan and Jack are just like, wait, why are there 2 Jacks? I just look at this list, guys. I'm so confused. There are 2 different versions of Jack here. All right, we're not going to spend much more time on this, but I at least see the direction they're going with Kalamazoo. The Kuzan makes sense. The Jack makes sense. The Black Maria does. We already talked about Linlin. This card's going to be incredible. The 9 cost Kaido and the Gecko Maria. Awesome stuff here, guys. A lot going on, but I think, number one, this list is clearly not even possible because you have 6 of the same card in here, but I think they're still trying to figure out what is going to be perfect, fine-tuned, and like running the best. Okay, now we'll spend a little time on purple-yellow pudding. Let's look at, we're going to look at just one of the, we'll look at these top 2 here, actually. Okay, so the first list, I'm going to run through it real quick. See, yeah, this is how it's supposed to look. See how if I minimize out, it's just like 4 rows? That other one was like 7 rows. It was 6 or 7 rows, guys. This is much more concise. I will run through this list first, and then we'll talk about it. 4 Pudding, 4 Linlin, 4 Game Beige, 4 Amande, 4 Edward Newgate, 4 Flampe, 2 of the new Kaido and Linlin, excuse me, 4 Black Maria, 4 of the new Katakuri, 4 Brule, 4 of the new 9 cost Linlin. So now we got a 7 Lin, 9 Lin, 10 Lin. Very nice. And then 4 of the You're the One Who Should Disappear event, and 4 We're Going to Claim the One Piece. Wait, what was that? Is that what that one was called? I feel like I didn't read the name on that one. Oh, is that from, that might be from something else. We're going to claim the One Piece? What is that from? OP07, I'm sorry. Okay, I was like, dude, I did not read that. So real quick, let me read this first, guys. This is a top 5 searcher for Animal Kingdom Pirates and Big Mom Pirates type cards. Activate the card's main effect on trigger. Okay. All right, so very straightforward Big Mom Pirates package. I'm not going to spend much time on that. There's nothing to talk about. Just a few interesting cards to go over. This one is trying Edward Newgate, because this can rearrange your life cards. Now, okay, let me read it real quick and I'll explain it. On play, add the top card of your deck to your life cards, then look at all your life cards. Place one of the cards on the top of your deck, and then return your remaining life cards in any order. Understand this, if a card has already been revealed from your leader's effect, you don't get to turn it face down. You have to leave it the way it is, but you can move it around in your life accordingly. So, in other words, you can mess around, you know, you can make it where you can use your leader's effect again this turn. That's the idea. Like if your opponent didn't attack any, you still have a life card that's face up, no problem. When you play this, you can just move that one to the bottom of your life and then flip up the other two that are remaining. Yeah, that's the idea here. Very good stuff otherwise, though. Very good stuff. And it's a 6-cost 7K with a 1K counter. It's just massive. It's kind of like another version of your Charlotte Katakuri, but this one's actually ramping you a Dawn, you know, kind of in a different way. Okay, good stuff either way. And you're just trying to ramp up to the big characters, guys. Ramp up to the 10 Lin, now ramp up to the 9 Lin, and then you're dropping down the new combo Kaido&Linlin. I actually don't think this card is as good, guys. That's just me personally. Like I told you in the review, maybe it's good as a 2 of, right? Where it's like, okay, if I'm in a position where I'm just winning, maybe this will help me win. You know, it'll like secure my win. Who knows? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. And then everything else is pretty straightforward, guys. We got Flampe. Remember, this is a Big Mom Pirates 2K counter, guys. This is a Big Mom Pirates 2K counter. Just incredible. Amande's been around for a while. We know what this card does. Beige is not Big Mom Pirates, but it's still an incredible 2K counter. So it's running, what is that, 12 2K counters? Did I do that? Yeah, 12 2K counters and then 4 of this guy that just says, you know, I'll just get rid of this card in my hand and go use it as a 3K counter. So really good stuff there. Awesome. Actually, that's the only list we're probably... okay, we'll look at the other list. We'll look at the other one real quick. They're probably going to be pretty similar, but they might be a little bit different. Well, yeah, actually, they're quite a bit different. I like the first list we looked at better already, but this one is running the 7 Lin. This one's running the Perospero, so it's running way more just almost strictly Big Mom Pirates type, almost. Not entirely, but hopefully you guys see what I'm saying. It's running the Bentham, the Bon Carrés, the 1-call searcher we already looked at, the event. It's running 2 Sheep's Horn to get past blockers. I don't see where this would be necessary. Like, personally, I don't see where this would be necessary when you're dropping massive characters like Charlotte Linlin, the 9 and 10 costs. I don't see where it's necessary. But overall, this one is running the Edward Newgate, by the way. But it's not running the new... Yeah, excuse me, it is. I'll say I don't see the new Katakuri. It is running the new Katakuri. Yeah, both lists look good, and y'all tell me what y'all think is the better list. I don't know which one was at the bigger tournament. They both just say first place store battle with no number beside them. Okay, all right. Well, that's it for that part of the review. Now we're going to go ahead and check out one game on the sim, and we'll wrap it up that way, guys. We got just a fun game here. Black Yellow Linlin, of course, of course. One of my absolute favorites for those who are new to the channel, who are not aware. Let me go ahead and play. Volume is off, speed 2x, and we're good to go. Okay. Man, that was one heck of a review, guys, for Purple. I'm sorry. Just to kind of summarize while we're watching this game get started. These games have a slow start, but look how good my curve is. Turn 1 brand new. Turn 2 is probably going to be Kuzan into turn 3. Like, we'll see what happens along the way. But there are a lot of really strong purple cards coming out, and there were a lot of really strong green cards. So far, I've gone over red, green, blue, and purple, just going in order. And out of the 4, I think purple and green got the best cards. That's just me. That's what I think personally. I think that all those new Minx cards are just incredible. But okay, let me focus up on this game real quick. We'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the video. So I'm back on Linlin. This is OP07, I believe. I am going to start transitioning all my videos over to OP08 very soon here, but I've got a few left that I got to get through from OP07. Or excuse me, I'm going to be transitioning most of my videos to OP08 because a lot of them were OP06 and some OP07, but I want to feature a lot of the new stuff very soon here. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at what I want to put in my trash whenever I do drop down 8-cost Gecko Moria. You want to make sure you set your trash up properly. Okay, so right here, it's just going to be swing. So what I do here is I swing 6 into the that's a new card there. That's let me see what his name is. He counters out, but that's a S Snake, I think his name is, or Seraphim or something like that. S Hawk, excuse me, S Hawk. I swing 6 into him. That was weird that he chose to save his Shaka real quick. Sorry guys, let me pause it. He saved the Shaka even though I put -4 cost on him with my character, you know, with my my Kuzan's attack. It's like, bro, I'm getting rid of that card. This is not a bluff, especially now, guys. I'll talk about it more towards the deck tech end of the video. Rebecca plus Brooke plus Gecko Moria. Any deck that runs black is viable running those 3 cards. I'm just telling you guys. And then if you combo more with it, it just gets better and better. But yeah, anyway, I'm surprised he tried to protect that blocker because there was no way I was going to let that card survive, right? But he doesn't know my hand. I could be bluffing. I guess that is a legitimate thing to expect from Black Yellow Linlin. But I can almost promise you, any deck running black that is running Kuzan, they are going to have removal. Like, that is pretty much a guarantee. He's going to swing 7 into my 5 here. I'm just going to give him a Rebecca, I think, unless I want to get my Kuzan out of the trash with a Gecko Moria here. Looking back, I probably should have, but notice I have no 2-cost cards in the trash right now. I run brand news at 4. I run Helmeppos at 4. I run Surus at 4. I just couldn't get any low-cost characters this game. It happens. Not a big deal. I'm just going to gobble up his board. He can have that guy. Play out Sabo just to set things up. Because, again, I'm trying to get some cards in the trash so I can get full effect from my Gecko Moria. But, hey, I'm putting down some pretty strong cards, right? I'm putting down, you know, Kuzans, Brooks, Sabos. Excuse me. I'm not upset at all here. Okay, and the thing about Vegapunk, okay, I had to talk, you know, this guy took a second. I think he forgot that you cannot pop characters when, okay. Remember what Sabo does, guys. It's not just a draw 2, trash 2. It is a draw 2, trash 2, and all of your characters cannot be KO'd until the start of your next turn. All the characters that are on the board when you play it. It is an on-play effect. And he just goes ahead and surrenders. Like I said, just a chill game. It's over. Next turn, it's over, though. I mean, even if he counters out with this whole hand, it doesn't matter because it's going to be like... I was probably going to go swing 5 with this guy, you know, at face. Or excuse me, I couldn't have done it like that. I was going to get rid of this Yamato. So it was going to be swing 5 at face with my Kuzan, maybe even more than 5, -4 cost to the Yamato. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit him with an Ice Age to bring him down to 0. Swing 5 with Brooke, KO the Yamato. And it's just like... And at that point, I can even play out the Gecko Moria. It's just like a never-ending cycle at that point of like you're done for. You know what I mean? And actually, hear me out, guys. An even better play, I think, would have been to... Could I have played out the Suru as well there? Maybe I play out the Suru and the Ice Age, like even though that kind of wastes the Suru, because then I could play the Gecko Moria on top of my brand new, putting it into the trash, and then it becomes a legal target for my Gecko Moria, and I'd be able to fill it up that way. And then I could remove the Suru for a later turn and replace something. Well, actually, maybe just... No, I wouldn't have to do that because I didn't have enough good targets. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, guys, so that was it for this game. A lot of options there. Black Yellow Linlin is still struggling. Okay, it is not the best deck in the format somehow. I don't know what Bandai is thinking. No, I'm just kidding. But this is the list I'm running, guys, and it feels really strong. I'm running the Navy search engine. Let me run through the list and I'll explain it. 4 Brooks, 4 T-Bone, 3 Kuzan, 4 Suru, 4 Borsalino, 4 Branu, 3 Sabo, 4 Rebecca, 4 Gecko Moria, 1 Hogback, just so I can get back these geckos later, 2 Perona, 2 of the 8-cost Sabo, 4 Helmeppo, 3 10-cost Linlin. That's the only yellow card in the entire deck, and then 4 of Ice Ages. It has, I think it has something like 23 searchable cards for Navy. Let's just run through it. It's 4, 7, 11, 15. These you can't search up brand new, right? 15. So 15, 19, 23. Yeah, I believe that's it. So it has 23 searchable targets by brand new. But remember, anything that goes in the trash, we're not too worried about because it's just going to give us more value from our Rebeccas and our Gecko Morias for later. Now, yeah, ideally, the worst card you can hit in the trash is the 2 Sabos or the 3 Charlotte Linlins. But hey, if you get this card, you know, the Hogback in your trash and a Gecko Moria, you're going to be able to get back Hogback from a Rebecca later in the game, which can allow you to get back a Gecko Moria when you play out the Hogback. So that is nice having that little feature there. Okay, so what I was saying earlier in the video, I know I was all over the place in this video, guys. Y'all bear with me. These Brooks, these Rebeccas, these Gecko Morias are insane. And that's why I run 4 Helmeppo. This is a great card early on to just counter out with. Just use it as a 1K counter and be very happy about it. Same thing with Suru. This is a great 2K counter. Just use it right away. Brand new. After you've played him out on turn 1, if you get any more, it's just a nice 1K counter. Because later in the game, those are your prime targets. They're your only targets. Is Suru, Helmeppo, and brand new for your Gecko Moria 2 cost and lower slot. Your 4 cost or lower is absolutely packed. You can get Rebecca, Brooke, Kuzan, Borsalino, Perona, Hogback. Like, there's so many options you get with the 4 cost spot, with the 4 cost, targets. But for your 2 cost stuff, you do want to aggressively counter out with your Subarus, Helmeppos, and brand news. And for once, the way that this deck is built, you're not trying to take life. You want to rely on your leader's effect for the late games. Like this effect, hear me out. This package of the black cards we were just talking about, the Brooke, Rebecca, Helmeppo, brand new, and that whole little package we were talking about in Suru, for the early game, just bully the board with it. Just completely bully the board with it. Don't worry if they KO these cards. You're going to get it back later with Gecko Moria. But then as you get into the later parts of the game, like into the late game, first of all, you have Gecko Moria, and you have your Tinlin help carry you there. Then, once they're in the late game with you, if they're a deck that goes late game, like controlling, all right, no problem. Are they going to be able to deal with the fact that we're gaining 1 life every single turn? Because not every deck can just deal with that, right? A lot of decks depend on just whittling you down 1 life per turn while battling for the board. Well, are they going to be able to do that for us? Because we're going to be popping cards on their board as well, right? We're running the 8 called Sabo. This card, this comes out in OP07, so very soon for us in the West, probably about 3 weeks away. Trash a card on play. You may trash 1 card from your hand, KO up to 1 of your opponent's cost 5 or less characters, and up to 1 of your opponent's cost 3 or less characters. So this is popping all kinds of stuff, right? Yes, it is an 8 cost, but think about it. You can actually combo that with a Helmeppo or a Suru or an Ice Age or a Suru and an Ice Age. There's all kinds of combinations here. If you combo this with an Ice Age, you can pop any 10 cost character in the game, right? Just any 10 cost character you can pop with this. But if you don't have that, like even if you have a Helmeppo, you're popping an 8 or less character, or you're popping a 5 and a 6. Like that's not exactly horrible, right? That's pretty decent. And he's a 9,000 power body, just like Gecko. These cards are just absolute beaters in a deck like this. Okay, guys, this video went way longer than I expected it to. This is the longest video so far for my reviews for OP08, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about. I will say. So let me go ahead and throw up the patrons page. I just want to say thank you to everyone who supports this channel. If you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, just watching the videos, you're helping me out. So I appreciate that so much. And for the other people over here on the patrons page who are taking that a step further by helping me out in the ways that they can, thank you guys so much too. Y'all are really helping me, turn this into a full-time gig. Just one little quick update. I'm still waiting to hear back on the mats. I've got 100 play mats coming in the mail. They're ordered. They're here. Once those get in, I'll talk about that more and set up a way for anyone who's interested. That's going to support me as well, and it's going to be something for you to use at your locals to play on because the mats came out really cool. I'll have more information on that soon. All right, guys, I'm done rambling. I'm done. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about OP08's purple cards, because that was the main part of this video, right? It was a full purple review. A lot of good purple cards coming out. I want to hear what y'all say about them, what y'all think about them. All right, guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.